think?
The Exorcist broke boundaries of frightening fantasy and box office records with equal abandon. News reports told of people waiting in line for hours, fainting in shock, then lining back up to see what they'd missed. The Exorcist won 10 Oscar nominations. The film industry got its first modern blockbuster, and getting good and scared would never be the same.
This is what I find terrifying.
It could be me.
It's found in every culture, every single one.
Flight of stairs. What does that mean? Oh, you are issuing a clear invitation to the dance.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you on a Friday Eve. I apologize for not being here yesterday. I was at the county fair. State fair hair, long black roots, big old ghetto booty, and a cheap tracksuit. Horrifying. Horrifying, the kind of people you see there, but my son's about to be 7, and when you're that age, it's all about the rides, the prizes, the deep fried Snickers, deep fried Pepsi, whatever you need at the fair. It'll scare the life out of you. But tonight, that's not what we're doing. We're talking about The Exorcist 3. And this is a real, scary movie. Let's just be real. If the only film you'd ever seen was called Legion, 1990s Legion, William Peter Blatty's possession thriller, Legion, it might be your favorite horror movie. It might be the scariest movie you'd ever seen. This has the unfortunate task of following the granddaddy of them all, The Exorcist, which is the greatest horror movie ever made. This is perfect. Pure nightmare fuel. Everything about it, especially the pacing, the shots, the music, the gore, everything. The theatrical cut especially. And this is the best it's ever looked. This thing from Scream Factory, it's a 10. It's a 10 all day. Let's go back in time to when I first watched it. I love this damn. So I don't know what came first. Kind of like one of those chicken or the egg scenarios where I don't know if I was always afraid of old people or I watched certain movies when I was really young that scared me off of old ladies forever. I know that's an unusual fear. Somebody that's supposed to take care of you and bake you cookies and be one of your best friends in the world, your grandmother. Something about them is so horrifying to me, and it's because of this movie. This movie right here scared the piss out of me. Specifically when I was a little kid, and then I don't think I even really watched it until I was probably 13, 14, 15, and I rented it the same night that I rented Rosemary's Baby and Deliverance. Deliverance scared me too. It was very effective. I'll never never forget watching that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Rosemary's Baby is a gem. I adore that movie as well. But this movie with a couple of people, dude, when Kinderman's in that hospital and that old lady goes scurrying across the ceiling, it takes my breath away. I mean, when I watch it now, like I know it's coming, and I'm like, it's kind of creepy still, right, guys? Man, it scared the absolute piss out of me when I watched it again when I was probably 15. And that's not the only scene. If you've seen this movie, it's incredible. But the old ladies in this movie, the woman from Creepshow, I forget her name. You know, she's in Father's Day. She's got the shears in this movie. When she's coming after Kinderman, she's in that cab just wigging out, dude. Love that scene. The Exorcist 3, everything about it. Talk about the performances. I gotta stop. And I know it's not just me. I mean, who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube reviewing one of my favorite horror movies. This was one of the most infamous serial killer's favorite movie of all time. He would bring people to his apartment, rewind his favorite scenes, and make them watch this on a loop. That person was Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer. Favorite movie, watched on a loop, makes it a little bit intense. Makes that fact just a little... How many people had to watch this while something horrible was happening? Can't even fathom that idea. This is a scary movie, dude. I totally know why we're here. I know that we're here to talk about the hospital scene. Everybody wants to talk about the nurse and the shears and the #1 jump scare of all time. And that's amazing. It's incredible. It's tattooed in my brain. I watch that scene so many times. I know exactly where it's coming. I rewind it. I watch it over and over. I get it. That scene's very incredible. But for me, the best part of this movie is the confessional scene. Not in the jail cell, like not with, Kinderman and everything, with the old woman where she's describing what happened and how she just loses it in that confessional booth. That wigs me out, dude, to this day. I absolutely love that scene. So good. So good. Another scene I like more than the actual nurse scene is when Brad Dourif decides to sit down with Kinderman and they talk about him as the Gemini killer. Brad Dourif from Child's Play, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, amazing as the sheriff in Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, which is a banger. His performance as the Gemini killer is outstanding, and I know that the director's cut doesn't have the flash forward, flash backward, where they're talking Father Karras, right? I like it when it's just... I like the way that it is on the theatrical cut, is what I'm going to say. As much as I love Brad Dourif having that long monologue, the two of them in that jail cell with the fire and the snakes, dude, hair-raising. Incredible scene by the two of them. If you haven't seen this movie, it's worth picking up just for that scene. That scene alone, I think it's like 8 minutes in the director's cut. I forget in the theatrical. 10 out of 10, dude. Exorcist 3 is the best, and this is the best way to watch it. It has every single special feature, and your mom, I mean, you've seen, you know. It's absolutely stocked. Stacked to the gills, full of special features. This is the Scream Factory 4K 3-disc collector's edition, and unfortunately it does only have the theatrical cut in 4K, and you've also got a Blu-ray of the theatrical cut, and then finally you got Legion, the director's cut, which for me is not my preferred way to watch it. I know people like the monologue with Brad Dourif a little better, the intro's a little different, there's a couple different changes here. I think the pacing and the way everything works is just better for me in the theatrical, so that's perfect. Tons and tons of special features though, ton. Until next time, guys, if you want to see more madness like this from me, like, comment, subscribe, talk some mess down there. Have you seen The Exorcist 3? What's your favorite part? Do you not like the scene with the scissors? You know, why are you watching The Exorcist now? If you haven't, go ahead and watch that. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow I'm going back to the fair, but I'm gonna still try to put out a couple of cool videos. Go back into the well, find something else to watch and talk about. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Josh here, wishing you the best. Cheers.
Well, why not, after all? I've been taught by the master.
Who is that?
The one. There is only one. Incidentally, who's this Damien you mentioned?
Don't you know?
I know nothing, except I must go on killing Daddy. I must shame him. Are they calling these Gemini killings in the papers? You must get them to do that, Lieutenant. It's important.
The Gemini is dead.
No, I am not! I'm alive! I go on! I breathe! Look at me! Look at me! And tell me what you see!
I
see a man who looks like Davian Karras.
If you looked with the eyes of faith, you'd see me.
The hell are you talking about?
Your blindness. Tell the press that I am the Gemini Lieutenant, or I will punish you.
Punish me?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Do you dance?
What do you mean?
I like plays. The good ones, Shakespeare. I like Titus Andronicus the best. It's sweet. Incidentally, did you know that you are talking to an artist? I sometimes do special things to my victims. Things that are creative. Of course, it takes knowledge, pride in your work. For example, a decapitated head can continue to see for approximately 20 seconds. So when I have one that's cocking, I always hold it up so that it can see its body. It's a little extra I throw in for no added charge.
I must admit it makes me chuckle every time. Life is fun.
It's a wonderful life, in fact. For some.
It's too bad about poor Father Dyer. I killed him, you know.
An interesting problem. But finally, it worked. First, a bit of the old succinylcholine to permit one to work without annoying distractions. Then, a 3-foot catheter threaded directly into the inferior vena cava, or the superior vena cava. It's a matter of taste, I think, don't you? Then the tube moves through the vein under the crease of the arm into the vein that leads directly into the heart, and then you just hold up the legs and you squeeze the blood manually into the tube from the arms and the legs. There's a little shaking and pounding at the end for the dregs. It isn't perfect. There's a little blood left, I'm afraid. But regardless, the overall effect is astonishing. And isn't that really what counts in the end? Yes, of course. Good showbiz, Lieutenant, the effect. And then off comes the head without spilling one single drop of blood. Now, I call that showmanship, Lieutenant. Then, of course, no one notices pearls before swine.
Oh, few boos from the gallery, I see. It's all right. I understand. I've been dull. Well, I shall liven things up for you a bit, Lieutenant. The master is throwing me scrap from his table. A reward for faithful service. Something fun. Something random. Something my way. Good night, moon. Good night, air. Good night, Amy. Telling her beads.
beads.